Here's how this works. Water, salt, and pepper, those are freebies. Your pantry, it better have flour, oil, vinegar, mustard, and garlic. Beyond that, you'll only need 5 more ingredients and 25 minutes to put an entree or entire meal on the table. So, shop, set the clock, and let's dish out. All right, drum roll please. Our first ingredient is some pork chorizo. Got a couple tubes here. Some flour tortillas. You could use corn or whatever you have on hand. And then we'll grab some prepackaged flavor in the form of some pickled red onions and some pre-bottled Salsa Verde. We've made both those on the channel before, but in 5 and 25, we got to work quickly with just a handful of ingredients. So we'll grab a couple of russet potatoes, and now we can get to work. You want to go ahead and begin by preheating a large skillet over medium heat. We'll come back to that in a moment. And go ahead and cut your potatoes by cutting off a small plank on one side so you have a nice solid base to cut with. And then we'll go ahead and cut these down into 1/2-inch slices and then 1/2-inch fries. And then we'll go ahead and turn that slice 90 degrees and cut it down into a nice even 1/2-inch to 3/4-inch cube. Again, the size of the cube here is not nearly as important as the fact that you keep it as evenly as possible so that they all cook through evenly in our skillet. Speaking of which, we'll add in the chorizo and go ahead and cook and crumble that for 3 to 5 minutes until most of the fat has rendered out and the chorizo has crumbled up into some small pieces. It's not going to happen right away, just have a little bit of patience. Once most of that fat has rendered out like that, you can go through there and kind of crumble it up and spread it out. Now, there is going to be a good amount of fat in here, and you can definitely drain that out if you're fat averse, but since potatoes themselves do not have a ton of flavor, and this dish is all about the filling here and the toppings, I'm going to go ahead and leave most of that fat in there. Once that chorizo is thoroughly cooked through, we'll go ahead and add in all of our potatoes. I've got 2 russets here, which I sliced, rinsed, and drained. We'll season them with a nice crack of pepper and a pinch of salt, but we don't need a ton because there's a lot of flavor in that chorizo and its fat. Go ahead and turn the heat down to medium-low, lid up, and we want to stir these every 3 to 4 minutes for about 15 minutes or so until those potatoes have softened, gotten a nice little golden brown crust on the outside, and as you can see, they will absorb every bit of that luscious, beautiful, flavorful chorizo fat. So don't miss every opportunity to go ahead and let these cook away in that fat for about 15 to 17 minutes. Oh my gosh, look at that beautiful, crispy brown bottom we're getting there. Those are absolutely just ready to go. We'll go ahead and heat up our flour tortillas in a dry skillet or in the oven, or just pop them in the microwave, but you definitely want a warm tortilla. They're much more pliable that way. Add in a couple generous spoonfuls of your chorizo and potato mixture. I'm going to go ahead and place down a few pickled red onions as one of our toppings, and a squeeze of that Salsa Verde as another. You could go crazy here with cotija cheese, sour cream. I'm putting down a little bit of fresh cilantro because I had it on hand, and we'll drop in a couple of lime wedges, but those are of course extra and optional. These are absolutely great just on their own. But check that out. In like 20 minutes, you've got an incredibly unique take on a taco. Skipping the ground beef and the beans and the usual salsa toppings, we've got something here that is smoky, soft, yet crispy. Definitely don't make a mistake I did and take a bite without hitting it with some lime juice first. All right, we're going in. This is a great way to mix up, Taco Tuesdays, or just the next time you're looking for an inventive and creative taco that definitely is satisfying, but is totally different. Man, that is a flavor explosion. The citrus and tang from those pickled red peppers and that salsa is absolutely phenomenal with the smokiness and spiciness from the chorizo, and those potatoes are a perfect bed to soak up all the flavors, as is your tongue. So go ahead and give these a try, or at the very least, now it's your turn to get out of here and go make something delicious.